We're doing something different this year. We are going to stack the wood on the patio. Got a rack out there. We're gonna give that a try, and we're gonna keep the porch furniture on the porch instead of putting it away, putting all the wood out here. And we're gonna we have 2 wagons and the ramp, and we'll cart the wood in from there. Fingers crossed. So after 20 plus years of stacking wood on our screen porch, we are going to try it on the patio. We have to watch for the snow coming off of the roof onto the patio. We saw this on YouTube. We love YouTube. We have all this stuff here. We don't even have to buy anything. It's great. So we're going to try this instead of putting everything on the porch and leaving the porch furniture on. We're trying to simplify our lives, not moving stuff around. And now that we have the ramp, we love the ramp. We use the wagon, wood back and forth. So let's see how this pans out. Okay, we've got everything with wheels. We got a log splitter, we got the Kubota, we got the condo, the van, and the pickup truck. It's a motorcycle you can't see. A lot of things with wheels and motors. I'm working on row number 2. It's the second load, so I'm thinking 4 loads altogether to do a rack. That's pretty good. Way easier on the back than pushing wheelbarrows around. I'm just back from the farm. Homer's in there. I unloaded. Everything comes wrapped in brown paper bags. So I had 6 brown paper bags. And I just open them up and put them in laundry baskets. And then we drag these baskets down the basement steps. They get loaded into the freezer. So every October we get a whole pig. And I've got some nice roasts, chops, liver, ribs, ground pork. And I've got the back fat down there in that basket. So we are stocked for another year. Okay, the last basket's... Oh, you're going to slide it? All right. We're big into sliding, since we have multiple levels. So, the laundry baskets are great. They're slippery. And then I'm going to go down and put everything in order. Okay, so we're in the house, and just going to slide it down the steps into the old scary basement. How are we going to do this when we're 70?
New steps.
So 2 more baskets to go, and then I put it into the freezer. Here we are in the scary basement. That's actually lime on the floor. It's not mold, so don't be worried. We're putting down crushed stone and plastic vapor barrier. But this is our refrigerators. One's a freezer, one's a refrigerator. And we have a chest freezer over here. So as long as we have power and fuel to run a generator, we're good to go. But how are we going to do this when we're 70? We'll just one day at a time. Then I just load these up into the freezer, and you can see the freezer's pretty empty. The top rack is beef from the half cow we got. I'm trying to think of when that was. January? So we're ready to stock. Okay, I've got everything loaded up. Didn't take too long. And we're stocked for a year with pork. My freezer's beeping because the door's been open. We rented the billy goat. It is the best. I've already done all the leaves that were here in the driveway. But I've got to come back and cut all of those plants back, so not going to focus too much the leaves on there. But so I did the leaves up to the stone wall here, just getting a sense of the overview. So I've got a lot of leaves to blow, and let's get started. See how long it takes. Hi there! Homie's up here. He can see the whole grounds and watch me with the billy goat. goes Homer on the sled. This is our last load to stack. It's not a full load, and that concludes the wood stacking for the season once this is done. This is our last load. What is this? We did 8 racks. Is that 8 racks? 5 back there, or 7? 5, 6, 7 racks?
8.
8 racks. There's Homer.
Yeah, 6, 7, 8.
8 racks. There's a final tour around the racks. I'm gonna tarp it over. Hold on.
Oh.
It's nice having the porch open. I'm just getting a view of the wood. And I leave one wagon on standby because I've already filled the bin inside. So I fill the bin inside, have a backup waiting outside. I think it's a pretty good system. Doing a fall update here at the homestead. We had our granite steps repositioned. They kind of sunk down over the years after 20 years. And fortunately we have a good friend that is in the stone business, so he brought his machine, reoriented them, and lifted them back up. That bottom step was sunk right into the ground. I've got the driveway center planter is all cut down, and I've tagged some things that I'm going to move. Everything did so well. It got so full that I've got to thin some things out. I'm going to move some things to the back. So I'm glad that that's done. We've still working on this area here, the ledge that we exposed. We're dealing with this project will be next, but this is still some wood left over from our barn project, so we're use some of it for some other projects, and now we're going to sift through and decide what we can use for other things. The rest will be kindling. We're looking to build a little roof at this end, like an overhang, to keep the ladders from splashing up onto the barn. On the back side of the ledge, we use the mini excavator to dig it down. We have this byproduct of this big pile of dirt. So Whiskey is going through it by hand since we can't get the mini excavator again. It's booked. And you're going to move this to the other side. Is that what you're thinking? Over there. It's nice dirt. Okay, so that's kind of a tedious project. Got to stay in shape while we can. Okay, so back to the yard. I did the billy goat and blew all these leaves to the back where the trees are, to the wooded line. So that worked out pretty well. That's the way to go. It didn't take long. I think it's probably a couple hours altogether. Purposely, we have maybe about a quart of firewood left. That'll be in the mix for next year. Gonna deal with the stuff there behind the barn, get it secured, but this is all cleaned up. Lawnmower's out just in case we need to use that one last time. Got all this stuff cut back and the leaves blown. It's the compost bin. This is our side yard. Got everything cut, deadheaded, leaf blown. And that's our firewood. So we're ready for snow. Here's the back part of the yard. So I got all the leaves to the tree line. That area over here is where we had the mini excavator back for a little bit. So we will deal with that pile of vine. It was some serious vine, took over all those trees. You couldn't even see the stone wall on that side. And it was just a big pile of scrub brush. It was not attractive. So eventually we're gonna fill in that area in front of that building. That's our neighbors. And we're gonna plant Christmas tree type trees there. Kind of make a nice grouping. And I did the billy goat all the way up the path there that goes up to our rental cottage. And that's the path right there. Let me see, right here. The path goes up and then our cottage is over there through the woods. So we are making progress on this homestead that we have kind of ignored for so many years as we were working on other properties. It's nice to be able to focus on our homestead. And there's the mobile condo that's going to be going out for Thanksgiving down to New Jersey. No long trips planned for Thanksgiving this year. And then here's just wrapping around. It's looking pretty clean. In the spring we'll tackle what we're going to do with the rest of this area. Okay, ready for snow. This is all the sumac roots. This whole area was overgrown with sumac, and the mini excavator took it out. And we're finally getting back to the pile. Much quicker than shoveling into the Kubota. It looks like the pile of dirt that will never end. It's nice dirt. That was all stuff that we dug out with that he dug out with the excavator. This old farmhouse, eventually we'll get something to work with where we can have a garden. It's been kind of tough. Too many trees, not enough sunlight, lots of rocks. The plan is to have an area back here with some decent soil and all-day sunlight. So, getting there. Whiskey got the dingo with the soil reclaimer attachment. Still taking advantage of this beautiful, unseasonably warm weather in November. I'm not sure how this thing works. Let's check it out. This was all like vine, really thick vines and scrub brush that was so overgrown for 20 years. That's the pile of it there. So let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of junk in there, so I guess it digs it up. I don't know. Interesting. We'll have it done by the time we're 70, maybe. And I believe we moved here, we were 32. Now we're a lot of dirt. Okay, move it from one place to the other. We're thankful for our local rental place. We're trying to get this cleaned up so that we can just start new here in the spring. I have plans for some herbs, etc. here. This gets a good amount of sunlight in this area. The tarp just on the top only was not keeping it all wet. We had a couple rainy days, so we got to see. So we got a giant tarp out. It's a little bit unruly and it's covered on all four sides to the ground. I'm still trying to figure out why the wood looks so much bigger out on the patio than when it was on the porch. On the porch it didn't look like that much wood, but out here it looks 3 times the size. Anyway, so far it's easy in and out. It's just a weird unruly tarp at this point. The firewood is working out great. Our only challenge is our tarp, so we need a smaller tarp. But it's working out really nice. We had to put that piece of wood just to hold that tarp up, and then we're just taking out. We've already had one rack in front of that, took that out, and each rack will be disassembled once it's empty. So it's kind of a neat situation, and we're still working on the tarp since this is our first year doing this. My herbs have finally grown roots. This is mint. It's kind of small, but I'm hoping once I put it in dirt, it's going to do better. But you can see a lot of roots on the basil, on the sage. My sage plant's coming back, so that's a plus as well. The thyme, there's several branches or stems. Oh, this is a good one. This has a lot of roots in here. So I'm going to plant up as much that has roots in the dirt. I'm going to transplant this pot into a larger pot, and they're going to be here on the windowsill. See if I can get through the winter. I've got the sage is repotted. It was root bound. It really needed to be repotted, so I think that's going to be happier. I've got sage here. Some of these haven't sprouted roots yet, so I'm leaving them in. 2 basils are in. 1 basil doesn't have roots yet. That's the rest of the thyme, the mint, and these were in the other plant box. So I've transplanted them, and I've spread out the parsley, so hopefully that will grow more full and create some individual plants. It takes up a lot of space on the counter, but I'm giving it a try. We did a little, well, Whiskey did a little bit of maintenance to the wood cook stove. Tried to straighten out that side panel a little bit. It was very warped. So he's loading it up. He's vacuumed it or shoveled it out. And go ahead, show us how you put it back together. Since we run this so hot, we cannot maintain a nice glossy black finish like this side. This side doesn't get as hot, so it stays black. Doesn't matter how much we've oiled it.
Doesn't matter even if you cook on it and drill.
Right, it just is hot and it just comes right off. So there we go. And then this door here is we can front load the logs or we top load depending on the size of the logs. Lighten it up for the day. We're wrapping up our fall outdoor chores, and I've got the greens in and the wreath up, candles in the front windows. So we're going to go around to the side and see the greens there. And now all we need is snow to blanket the grounds. Wreath is on the entry door. Greens over here in the urn by the barn door. I took the flexible flyer inside and I gave it a nice coat of linseed oil to bring out the color of the wood. It was kind of looking kind of dull. And that's a family heirloom. Next up will be the tree inside, but until then, got another urn with greens here and a wreath on the architectural piece. It's actually a gazebo that was on my neighbor's property that fell down a few years ago. And then hopefully the snow will come next week as it is forecast, and it'll be very festive here.